You know, there's been a lot of us who are going after Rahm Emanuel because we think he's a loser, okay? He was supposed to get us policy victories because he was the chief of staff of Barack Obama. He knew Congress and he knew how to work things. Well, he didn't get us anything. No major victories on healthcare reform, financial reform, and the list goes on and on. Well, then he was supposed to be so savvy about politics. Well, turns out, once again, he's a loser. He lost, or the Democrats lost in Virginia, New Jersey, and much more importantly, in Massachusetts, the senatorial race. So he's been nothing but an absolute disaster, and he has been wrong on the major issues, and he's continued to push Obama to be weaker and weaker and have more concessions to the Republicans, which is the main thing undermining Obama's popularity. But, of course, Washington disagrees. The Washington media establishment says no. In fact, Rahm Emanuel is the genius. If Obama had just listened to him more, then everything would have been fine. Now, why do I say the Washington media establishment? Well, a little while ago we showed you an unbelievably fawning article from Dana Milbank saying the president is weak, Rahm Emanuel is strong. The only chance that the president has is to fire everyone else but Rahm Emanuel and listen to him. Unreal. That's literally what he said. And you could see our YouTube clip on it. You could read the article yourself. Well, that was Dana Milbank. But now the New Republicans, Noam Scheiber, he also wrote a piece saying, oh, Rahm Emanuel, I'll tell you what, that guy, whew, you know, he works so hard and you wouldn't want to be him, but without him, where would we be? And then Jason Horowitz from the Washington Post, again, a huge article about how Rahm Emanuel is indispensable. That's the one I'm going to concentrate on today. Okay, look at how ridiculously fawning it is. And then I'll tell you at the end why. Why are they all fawning over Rahm Emanuel? Okay? So, Horowitz explains in the beginning that Emanuel is the prime target for the failings of the Obama administration. Poor Rahm, you know, he's being targeted here. He's the chief of staff, right? He's the one that also brags in the papers about how he's responsible for everything. So, but he says no. Horowitz says, but a contrarian narrative is emerging. Emanuel is a force of political reason within the White House and could have helped the administration avoid his current bind if the president had heeded his advice on some of the most sensitive subjects of the year, healthcare reform, jobs, and trying alleged terrorists in civilian courts. If they had just listened to Rahm, they wouldn't have got into any of this trouble. Oh, Rahm's a genius. In fact, if anything, Rahm can only be blamed for, quote, not being aggressive enough in trying to persuade a singularly self-assured president and a set of true believer advisors that change you can believe in is best pursued through accomplishments that you can actually pass. So, it's like asking a guy in an interview, what's your major weakness? He's like, oh, I just work too hard. So Jason Horowitz thinks, Rahm Emanuel, his only problem is he didn't push hard emanuel because he was so right. And not listen to all this change, you can believe it nonsense. Then he goes on to say that Rahm Emanuel possesses a, quote, a unique understanding of the legislative mind. Well, if that's the case, how come we don't have any bills that have passed yet? And how come we continue to have losses in elections? No, because they're not listening to Rahm enough, apparently. Well, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, a Democrat of Florida, backs this up. She says, listening to Emanuel would serve, quote, all our overall goals. Quote, I think that Rahm's considerable legislative experience translates into advice that the president should heed. All right, Congresswoman Wasserman Schultz, I see you. I see you. All right, okay, so you're in the in the camp of just give in to Republicans and everything will work out. Now, you don't believe me that they gave in to Republicans? Well, Horowitz, another guy who dictates articles written actually by Rahm Emanuel, is going to tell us. Watch, look at this. Issue number 1. According to a person familiar with the conversations who discussed the confidential deliberation on the condition of anonymity, Emanuel made his case to Obama, articulating the political dangers of a civilian trial to congressional Democrats. Attorney General Eric Holder presented a counterargument rooted in principle for civilian trials. Horowitz goes on to explain, of course, that's a disaster. Principle is the wrong way to go. And Rahm Emanuel was a genius for saying we shouldn't do civilian trials. Just like the Bush administration, we should do military tribunals. Okay, so one side, he's clearly on the side of the Republicans on that issue, unquestionable, and Horowitz is complimenting him for that. same issue, Lindsey Graham is quoted in the article. Remember, Lindsey Graham, a Republican from South Carolina, says, during the whole civilian trial debate, Rahm's gut instincts knew that asking Khalid Sheikh Mohammed to New York for civilian trials was going to be a misstep. He has a better ear for domestic politics on this issue than anybody in the administration, quite frankly. So all Republicans agree. Rahm Emanuel is right. That's because he agreed with them on that issue, right? Well, it's not just that issue. I got more for you. So, issue number 2. Snow, that's as in Olympia Snow, another Republican senator, said that he was responsive to her interest in removing $100 billion in spending from the stimulus bill. He understood it operationally and legislatively, what we needed to be accomplished, and was very straightforward. So Snow saying, oh, he helped me to make the stimulus bill weaker. He took $100 billion out for me. He understood what we needed to get it accomplished. In other words, the Republicans. All right, issue number 3 on health care reform. I'm all quoting Horowitz in the Washington Post here. But before Obama and his advisors settled on a policy of expansive scope, Emanuel, back in August, suggested a smaller bill that would be easier to pass, according to another administration official who spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss private deliberations. It's funny how all these leaks seem to be in favor of Rahm Emanuel. That's kind of curious, isn't it? Weird. But in this issue, again, he said, no, health care reform, we should have watered it down much more. Apparently, according to Rahm Emanuel, the problem with the current health care bill is that it's way too liberal and progressive. Does any real progressive in the country believe that? That this bill is too progressive? That it should have been watered down more? I literally don't even know how you could water it down more. I don't know. I'm sure Rahm does. I'm sure he can make it even more Republican. He later argued to Majority Leader Harry Reid to strike the public option from the legislation to expedite passage, the source also said. So that's issue 3A, if you will, or issue 4. Within health care reform, the public option, Rahm Emanuel is now basically all the inside sources are saying what we told you all along. He was the main guy trying to kill the public option. Now, Rahm, you wonder why we come after you, because you're the guy who is constantly supporting Republican positions according to the very people who you leaked to, and who all of your aides and assistants and people that are and allies, whether they're Republican or the one Democrat they found, all of them say the same thing. Rahm Emanuel was always on the Republican side. Always. Always wanted to make the bills weaker, more watered down, less progressive. Gee, I wonder why progressives don't like Rahm Emanuel. It's really strange. All right, Horowitz then climbs up Rahm Emanuel's ass for a number of different reasons. Let me give you all the quotes. Emanuel's ally says there's no such thing as Rahm at rest. According to almost everyone who's ever worked with him, he has an insatiable need to be in the mix, and he's deeply concerned with the news of the day. His office is the White House nerve center. In order to get a final decision, everything needs to go through Rahm's office, said a former administration official who thinks Emanuel should delegate more. He just works too hard. This is literally what I said before at the interview. My main weakness is I'm just trying too hard to get stuff done for the president. His weighing in on mind-boggling swath of governmental and political activity adds to his outsized image as chief of staff for everything. As a result, he can be blamed for almost everything, especially as health care legislation became stuck, the president's approval ratings dipped, and widespread angst about the economy fueled the GOP resurgence. The problem is he's in charge of everything and he's working too hard. That's why he gets the blame. But it's not him. If they just listened to him more, he would have been fine. As a young operative, then they have these heroic stories of him. As a young operative in Illinois, he sent a dead fish to a pollster. Everybody quotes the same damn story, right? And as an aide to Bill Clinton, he stabbed a knife into a table while screaming the names of the president's enemies. First of all, he sounds like a lunatic, okay? Second of all, I guarantee you those enemies were not Republicans. They were progressives or liberals. Rahm Emanuel has never, ever fought against Republicans. He has no victories against them. Of course, in the article it says, no. He had all those legislative victories in 2006 and 2008. Really? I remember he argued with Howard Dean, that was on the record, and said, no, Howard, we can't win in all those places. Your 50-state strategy is wrong. Let's focus on some of the other elections that we can win and run more political ads. As usual, Rahm the loser was wrong about that. We won in all those races that Rahm Emanuel thought we couldn't win in because Howard Dean took it strong. In the end, it's Always the same thing. And without Howard Dean, what is Rahm Emanuel, the genius, the hard worker? One, not a damn thing. These are orchestrated leaks. They're all done by Rahm Emanuel or his allies to protect him. The Washington establishment loves Rahm Emanuel because he gives them those leaks. Don't believe the hype.